Zombies Chronicles, I think, is the best DLC pack we've ever had for a Call of Duty, and this isn't just my opinion from a consumer standpoint, from a business point from Activision, it's also one of the best selling COD DLCs. This seems weird because DLC like this nowadays is free in Modern Warfare 2 or Black Ops Cold War. Zombies maps you don't have to pay for anymore. So if we were to get, in quotation marks, Zombies Chronicles 2, if it even does exist now, the question is, would it be free or would we have to pay for it? Because one thing that a lot of people don't seem to understand is Activision actually earn more money now that DLC is free compared to when we used to have to pay for it, which seems contradictory, earning more money for a free product, but that's the case because in return for playing something free you then get more players, and the more players you have, the more people to buy microtransactions, and they earn so much more money through microtransactions than they did through paid DLC. But that's not the point. Getting back to what I was saying, Zombies Chronicles was the best selling DLC of 2017. In at number 1 was Zombies Chronicles, in at number 2 was Destiny, we then had World War 2, Horizon Zero Dawn, Battlefield 1, BO3's The Giant, which is quite interesting, over maps such as Horizon Draka or Zetsubo, and right at the bottom we have Modern Warfare's Remastered Variety Pack. But Zombies Chronicles over any other game, over any other COD DLC pack, was the best selling DLC in 2017, not only in the US, but also in Europe. It's 1200 in the top sellers, has almost a 90% review rating. This was an extremely successful DLC, and I couldn't find this anywhere online, but if I'm not wrong in saying, it's also one of, if not the best-selling COD DLC of all time. So just talking about Call of Duty's DLCs, every map pack that we've had in World at War, BO1, BO2, Modern Warfare 2, etc. Every paid DLC that we've had, Zombies Chronicles is number 1, it was the best-selling. So when you think about it, it's a little bit strange that we haven't had Zombies Chronicles 2, why they haven't given it to us. We've gone around in circles with that topic, whether it does exist or it doesn't. But what this also shows is the Zombies mode in Call of Duty, when it comes to DLC, outsells the multiplayer. And we have more proof of this because we also had a Zombies only pack in Black Ops 1, which was, I think it was DLC 4 Resurrection, which included Moon and then all of the World at War maps. The Resurrection DLC pack also did better than any of the other DLCs that we had in BO1. First Strike, I can't remember what the rest were called, but the Zombies only DLC in BO1 did better than the DLCs that included 1 Zombies map and 3 or 4 multiplayer maps. So we have 2 instances of Zombies only DLC map packs selling better than multiplayer maps. A lot of people still to this day consider Zombies to be this small mode. There isn't that big of a fan base outside of the online community. It's still the third mode, it isn't the main priority, which is true, but it's not as small as people think, and you can see that by different metrics, not only how well it sells, but if you look at views on Zombies videos on YouTube, they can be in the millions compared to multiplayer content. Zombies content, when it's relevant, when it's in its prime, when we do get Zombies, because that's not very often, we don't get it every year like we do multiplayer, but say the last proper one, Cold War Zombies content compared to Cold War's multiplayer content, there are many instances of Zombies videos getting a lot more views than what multiplayer videos would. The same happened for BO4, BO3. Zombies is just as popular as multiplayer, but for some reason, people don't see it that way, maybe because the community is smaller, or it just doesn't get as much attention from the developers or Activision, but Zombies is just as big, if not bigger in some cases. When it comes to DLC, it is bigger. I reckon if Treyarch were to give us Zombies Chronicles 2 today, it would outsell every Call of Duty DLC pack that we've had. And for people who may be saying, well, Zombies Chronicles only sold well because Call of Duty is at the top every single year, that's the reason why it was the best-selling DLC of 2017, well, the year after in 2018, Fortnite was at the top. Call of Duty's World War 2 pack came in at number 8. And whilst I still think Fortnite probably would have took the number 1 spot if Zombies Chronicles came out in 2018, I think it definitely would have been higher. That doesn't say much, it's going up against World War 2. But the point is, Zombies Chronicles is the most successful Call of Duty DLC pack to date. And I think potentially that proved Activision wrong. I bet Activision wouldn't have expected that. They wouldn't have expected Zombies Chronicles to do as well as it did, to be as successful as it was. But what was it exactly that gave Zombies Chronicles the success that it had? Well, the first thing I think it was down to was the release date. Black Ops 3 came out in November of 2015. A Call of Duty life cycle lasts a year, so that game came to an end at around October of 2016, and then the next Call of Duty came out, and then Zombies Chronicles released for the PS4 in May of 2017, June of 2017 for the Xbox, when there used to be a month's gap. That's kind of very unfair when you think about it now. But Zombies Chronicles released about a year and a half after BO3 came out. And this is weird because whenever we get a new Call of Duty, we never usually get DLC still releasing for an older game. The next COD would have been out and in its prime by the time Zombies Chronicles released. It came out during World War II's life cycle, which is even more surprising that it was as big as a success as it was, because you'd think most people would be spending their hard-earned money on World War II's DLC, but no, instead they decided to fork out for DLC for an older COD that a lot of people had moved on from. I think that has a lot to do with its success as well, because World War II generally wasn't received well. It wasn't an amazing game. It did okay. The sales were actually pretty good because we hadn't had a World War II game in a long time. So unlike Vanguard, people were excited for World War II. When they got to play it, they found out it perhaps wasn't that good. And so when Zombies Chronicles was announced, everybody was excited because, well, World War II just wasn't that good. Plus the fact that BO3's life cycle had been over for about 6 months. We hadn't had any new content for that game in about 6 months. So to randomly get something as big as this after not having any, content for that game, zombies maps for a while, all of that contributed to it being one of the best-selling DLCs. But that wasn't the only thing. The price, $30, and everything that it included, I think was worth it. A lot of the time it's hard to argue whether Call of Duty DLC packs are worth it. Back in the day they were about £15 for a DLC pack where you'd get one zombies map and I think it's like 3 or 4 multiplayer maps. This time, for double that price, $30, you got 8 zombies maps. All of them were remasters, so we had Nectar and Toten, Verrucht, Shinonuma, Kino der Toten, Ascension, Shangri-La, Moon, and Origins. But what Treyarch did well with this selection is they picked a lot of maps that we hadn't seen in ages. So you will notice a lot of the BO2 maps are missing, which was the previous Zombies game. The only one from that is Origins, and all of the rest are from World at War and Black Ops 1. Older maps that we hadn't played in a long time. And also because of that, a lot of maps that newer players who maybe got into zombies during BO2 or 3 hadn't experienced before. I know a lot of people who'd never played Shinonuma or Ascension or Moon, and they were very good. These were extremely good remakes or remasters. The games that all of these maps came from, World at War, BO1 and BO2, the graphics were drastically different to what BO3's were. I think if you compare Black Ops 2's graphics to Black Ops 3's, there is a huge difference. After that, just in my opinion, and this is also down to the consoles, BO2 came out on the older generation, the Xbox 360 and PS3, whereas Black Ops 3 came out on the PS4 and the Series X, where graphics drastically improved. After this, I think graphics of COD games haven't changed as much if you compare BO3's to BO4's or Cold War's. I think they're closer than what BO3's was to BO2, 1 or World at War especially. So all of these maps got a serious graphical upgrade when they were remastered. They look beautiful even now. Zombies Chronicles is 6 years old. I regularly go back and play it. I mean, you can see from the footage, they still look really good. Probably some of the best remasters you're gonna see. But besides from that, they were very faithful to the originals. A lot of the Easter eggs stayed the same, the main ones. Their layouts were exactly the same, but there were also enough differences to make them feel fresh. The first one being the weapons. Releasing on Black Ops 3, of course, they had to use BO3's weapons, which was good to experience these maps with different guns to the originals. In a lot of cases, more futuristic weapons than what we were used to using on these maps. They also all had the gobble gun system, and for some of the maps, they included some small new Easter eggs as well. In Ascension, you could see the Shadow Man, whereas he wasn't on the original map. In Kino, there was this brand new knocking door Easter egg. On Moon, there is the astronaut dog. Pretty much each and every map got a new Easter egg or two. Nact had a new musical Easter egg, so it wasn't just a plain straight remaster. There was new content while still keeping faith to the originals. Every single thing that Treyarch did with these maps was perfect. The timing, the quality, and it was something that people wanted. All of that contributed to its success, and so for me, it's weird that we haven't had a Zombies Chronicles 2. There are still loads of maps that weren't included in the original. Buried, Die Rise, Transit, Mob of the Dead, Call of the Dead. We have had Tag der Toten, but it wasn't an exact remaster. I mean, BO4 isn't that old, but there's a bunch of maps in that game that they could bring back if we ever got Zombies Chronicles 2 in the future, just to fill up the list. There are still loads of maps, so why we haven't had a Zombies Chronicles 2, I don't know. So there we go. Thank you all for watching the video today. Hopefully you've all enjoyed. If you have, drop a like rating. Make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest videos on the channel. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, goodbye.